Everyone, I'm not going to take much time, and I'm going to really just give Greg the free reign to kind of talk about whatever he wants, and we can all ask questions. A little bit of Greg will give us his actual background, but I'll give you what I know about him, which is he's the co-owner of Outfast Realty, which is a really cool real estate company over in Tampa, and they, I believe, most, if not all, of their agents are also investors, and I think he's probably going to tell us a little bit about why that is. And I met Greg. I actually reached out to him because, as everyone knows, the upcoming Become a Better Agent event, which is happening a week from tomorrow, is our investor edition. And Greg's other job, or at least one of his other jobs, is he's the co-owner of TBREA, which stands for Tampa Bay Real Estate Investors Association, the largest investor association group in the Tampa Bay area. And I believe he told me, and I could be wrong on this, but it was something like 300 or 400 members that they have. I'm one of those members. And Greg's going to be one of the speakers at next week's Baba event, and he's got a ton of valuable stuff that we're gonna extract from him at the event. But today, Greg is going to do whatever he wants to do to kind of give you an idea of who he is and what you'll be hearing about next week. And I'm very excited to introduce him. So with that, I'll chime in as needed, but it probably won't be very much because Greg talks about as much as I do, which is a lot. So he should be fine. Oh shit! We got him on video.
Wow. Heck yeah, guys.
Oh my God.
I'll mess around, guys.
Man, this is some high-tech stuff. I'm already impressed. So, yeah, Greg, take it away. And everybody just ask questions there in the chat box as needed, and that's it.
Yeah, guys, Kevin kind of hit the nail on the head. So I've been a real estate investor since late 2012. I've flipped about 80 properties, both some rehabs and some wholesales. And you know, what I'm really excited about, guys, especially today, because this is kind of a little bit more intimate, even though we are virtually doing this, is that I have a couple things I want to get across to you guys today, and I hope you guys don't take offense, because realtors sometimes get a bad rap in the investment community, and investors get a bad rap in the realtor community. So the reason we started a real estate brokerage that does investments is to kind of tie it in together, because typically agents don't understand investors, and investors really get frustrated and don't understand the agent side. And so there's a couple reasons we did the brokerage model, but that's the main focus of our brokerage. We like to service our clients on all fronts. So we have specialized acquisitions and sales for the investment side, and then we have agents that work on the retail side with buyers and sellers. So we kind of hit them on all fronts. We do property management. So when our investors buy the properties from us, we can manage them on the back end. And the other thing we do now, we just opened up, I don't even know if you know, Kevin, we just started a handyman and project management servicing. So we now can handle everything from the acquisition of a property for an investor all the way through the rehab and then the relisting or the property management. So I feel like the reason we did that is because there's a huge void in the marketplace. And that's something I want you guys to get across this too, is to be successful realtors, you guys have to recognize the marketplace, where it's good, where it's bad, and where to focus on. And so one thing that I really don't have a PowerPoint for you guys today. I'm going to share my screen though, because I have some things that I want to show you that we do that's way different than anybody else. And I'm excited to answer your questions. I know you're going to have a million of them at the end. So if you guys have questions, I suggest you write them down on a piece of paper so you don't forget them. Hang on, we got a question already. Oh, was that? Oh crap, I don't know where that went to.
I've got it right here. I'll help you out with the chat box.
Okay, cool, awesome. But the topic of this today, guys, is why you guys are losing out on thousands of dollars in commissions. And again, I don't want you guys to take offense to this, but most realtors, guys, you guys suck at marketing, plain and simple. And I was listening. I chimed in just a few minutes before I got introduced. And I think it was Chevelle. Yeah, she asked about her CRM and this and that. I would think to myself, well, if you're not marketing enough or you're not marketing properly, that CRM doesn't do you any good. Like you can have the most badass CRM out on the planet, but if you're not marketing to get your leads to pop into your CRM, it's not going to do you any good. So what I'm talking to you guys about today, and there's one focal point of what I want you guys to really, really get from the end of this. And guys, that is that you have to be different. You have to be different in your marketing. Whether that's you do direct mail, whether you're doing pay-per-click ads on Zillow or Trulia or Realtor, you've got to be different. And that's where most of you guys struggle, is being different, because you've gone to Tom Ferry, you've gone to some of the other big guys out there, and they give you like those templated things. I know Keller Williams gives a lot of templated stuff, Century 21. But guess what? Every other Century 21 agent is using that. Every other Keller Williams agent and every other Tom Ferry student are using the same damn letter, postcard, whatever. So you have to be different. You have to differentiate yourself from them in the marketplace, because if the sellers are all getting the same thing, what makes them, why would they want to call you versus somebody else? So I'm going to try and figure out how to share my screen here for a second, or start sharing it, I guess.
We're seeing it. We're seeing it right now.
Oh, you are. So which are you seeing, like this, the go to meeting thing?
Yes. Schedule a session right now from your calendar, and I see all your website folders up.
Let me drag this over here then. All right. So you guys see that?
Was that your face on a dollar bill?
It is, actually. I'll get to that. I'll show you guys that in a second, actually.
Yeah, 1-800-OUT-FAST.
So that's us. That's the phone number you call, and you're going to get Out Fast Realty. But I'm going to show you guys. I'm not going to give you guys all my investor stuff, or I'm going to show you my investor side stuff. I'm not going to show you the brokerage stuff. But this has allowed me to be a lot different in our marketplace. Everybody knows me as 1-800-OUT-FAST or Out Fast, period. And so this is a bad sign. What's that?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but let me just say to everyone, these signs, I see them at least once a week. As I'm driving around, I'll see a sign like this for Out Fast Realty, and just that makes you different, Greg. And you know, Greg hit the nail on the head. I've always said that in business, you have to be one of three things, or at least one of three things. You either have to be first, or best, or different. And first is pretty tough to do. You're not the first person to sell real estate, and who the hell knows if they're the best when everyone says they're the best? Truly be different. Come up with something unique that's about you, not about your real estate brand or your company or your broker, but about you. And that's how you stand out. That's why my title companies are succeeding from the Become a Better Agent effort, because it's cool, yeah, but mostly, honestly, because it's different and other people aren't doing it. If everyone did it, then it wouldn't be worth doing.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. We have the same thing on our investment side. Like these people go take these guru classes, and I'm not knocking Tom Ferry. Tom Ferry is awesome. I want to make sure I make that very, very clear. Tom Ferry is fantastic, but he's got a lot of students, so you're also competing with all of his students. But the same problem with other investors and wholesalers, they're having the same problem. I don't know if you can, let me see if I can get that a little bigger. They're all sending out this same postcard. Actually, this might be one that was done a little bit different for me, but it looks very similar to this, guys. And that's the problem, is it looks the same as everybody else's. Let me get out of that one. But guys, this is actually, this right here, this bandit sign has been monumental in me getting leads after leads after leads. Like we put our bandit signs out, we had like 5 or 6 leads coming over the weekend that you guys aren't getting, just because we put them out. And so like we got a bunch, we got like 5 or 6 seller leads just from that. Of which they've all been called and handled. So another thing I want to show you guys, this is what we put out when we buy a house. Oops. Hang on. You still see that?
Yep.
Okay. So we put out this huge, massive sign in the front yard of a house that we just purchased that we're renovating. So everybody in the neighborhood sees this over and over and over again as they are driving into their neighborhood. So this was actually huge. This guy's got me a huge deal, because we're renovating 2 properties in the same neighborhood. This had been out at one house, and then we moved it to the second house, and then we did a door knocking campaign, which is what you guys should definitely be doing too. Is we were door knocking the neighborhood, and we left a flyer on one of these neighbors' house, and she went to my website. and filled out the form, and boom, done. And I bought the house from her for $100,000, and I sold it for $130,000, like that, because my branding was in the neighborhood. So you guys have to sign out something that's different. I mean, I know it's gonna be hard for you guys to put a big, huge sign like this in a yard because you don't own that property. But the last thing we did is, after we did this and we bought and sold that house and we sold the other one, and we're still working on another one in the neighborhood, we sent out every door direct mailers to everybody around there. And so that's just more consistency in the marketing, consistency in your brand. And again, you guys are realtors. You guys, your brand is you. So you have to figure out how to brand yourself better than anybody else. So let me pull this one. This is actually one of my most favorite things that I ever did. That's on my little character, guys, that you've now seen on that thing. He's actually also on this postcard that I send out. It says, we would like to buy your house at, and it populates the property address there. And this is, again, this is investment side stuff. But yeah, you see my character, you see the brand, you see everything. But this was awesome because this was something that nobody, at least that I've seen around Tampa Bay, do. Is we had this huge $1,000 bill designed by my marketing company, and it branded it with my little character's face on it, and on the back of it, it looks like this. Same message as on the postcard, as on the bandit sign, as on the big sign in the yard. It's about being branded consistently, guys. And so this has just been, this killed it for me. We actually need to go put some more of these out. But these are ones that we actually did a campaign where we went out to the Bucks game a couple of times last year, and we just stuck them on people's cars. And we got inundated with calls. Now, we didn't get any deals from it, but sure, it was huge for branding purposes. As realtors, guys, that would be a huge opportunity for you guys to go out there and just hand out your flyers or put them on the cars, because we got a lot of calls off of it. It just, those people were more asking for retail than they were asking to sell it for fast cash. But we also put these out at the casinos because a lot of people at the casinos need money for their whatever. And we actually had a couple deals that we think we did because people were wanting to sell their rental properties so they probably could go gamble again. As crazy as that is, it happens. Let me see here. So other thing I want to talk to you guys about too, I know this can get a little taboo, but you guys need to be posting on social media a lot, because there's also different messages. Like, you guys should be posting signs like, or things like this, and you should be running ads to it. This is one thing that is becoming, it's becoming more and more prevalent in the realtor community, is advertising on Facebook. But you guys need to be posting stuff that makes you look real and fun. And hang on, let me find one here. You got to find one that makes you relatable to people. And a lot of people would relate to this. They've had an agent that's been really struggling with selling the house for them because they didn't do what they're supposed to. You guys know what it takes to sell a house. You know, you guys are all rock stars. But this would go a long way with resonating with a lot of people. So like, I post this every once in a while, and I say, I don't know about you, but that's a pretty crappy return on my investment. So if you have money tied up in a CD and you're making less than 1%, you need to come talk to me, because I'm giving my investors anywhere from 8 to 10% on their money. You guys can do the math. That's 8 to 10 times what they're getting at the bank. And that's not just Home Bank. That's pretty much every bank in town. So I post every once in a while, and it re-triggers people. They go, oh my gosh, I've been meaning to reach out to you, or I've been thinking about investing my 401k or IRA, and I didn't know where to go. And oh my gosh, I can get more than 1%, or I can get more than 5 or 6% in the stock market. The answer is yes. So you guys have to be willing to go outside the box. Let me show you some ones that we did that are funny ones. So this is one that I really love. Everybody know Charles Barkley when he says terrible. We ran this one, and it freaking got a lot of good reactions. So don't be afraid to make it funny and make it relatable. And then I like this one. What if I could sell my house with no closing costs? Or again, we market to a lot of landlords, so we put this in there. What I love this one too. What if I told you we can buy your house in any condition, any situation? We can close as soon as possible. And we run it to a funnel. We run it to a funnel for the people to put their information in, and we call them or we email them. Let me find another one. We ran this as an ad during the campaign. And I think that we got a lot of funny response. We didn't get any good leads, but it's just about generating interest in yourself and your brand. And so, it's just, you gotta be willing to, on social media, be relatable and be funny and be consistent in your message too.
Greg, this is Leo. Let me ask a quick question regarding the Facebook postings.
Sure.
How often do you post? And is it consistent on day and time?
Right now we're not posting as much as we should because we've been kind of focused on a couple other things right now. We've been running ads more so than just consistent posts. So we've been running ads for our Sell Your House for Free program like crazy the last few months. Posting itself, we hired a marketing director in-house. So he'll be taking over that. We're actually meeting with him this afternoon to kind of go over that game plan. But as of right now, we're just running Facebook ads, not doing a ton of posting itself. But that's all going to start coming back here.
Okay, well, on that note, just right now as a general rule, we've got seasoned agents here that are listening on the call. What if they're going to start committing their resourcing to Facebook? What's a good number and what's a good frequency?
Okay. Well, I'm going to touch on the ads first because the problem with the posting is that, guys, you're rarely going to be seen on Facebook anymore without boosting your post or advertising. So if you're going to be doing traditional posting, you should do it around 8:30 to 9 o'clock every morning because that's when people are on their phone. Either they're on their commute to work and they're just stuck in traffic, and so they're sitting at in traffic or at the stoplight on their phones, goofing around. Or you do it at 12 o'clock because that's when people take their lunch break for the most part. And then anytime after 5:30, 6 o'clock would be good for the regular posting of material. But the thing I gotta stress to you guys too is when you're posting stuff, you've got to send them somewhere. Okay, just by posting that funny sell your terrible house or terrible rental post doesn't do us any good if they can't click to go somewhere to fill out a form to a sales funnel to be able to capture that information. So whether it's an organic post like this could be like, a little thing about, hey, if you're a tired landlord and you want to sell your terrible rental, visit this site here, and it's got to direct them somewhere for them to fill out the form. And that's what your CRM then takes into account, where it says, hey, I now have a lead on my phone. It should send you a text message or a notification saying you have a new lead to call. But it's got to direct it somewhere. So on the Facebook ads, though, you guys should be running Facebook ads with the marketing company. I don't suggest you do it on your own because you guys have more important things to do than learn how to do Facebook ads. Hire a company to do that. I can refer you to a couple if you'd like, guys. But you should be spending between $5 and $10 a day in Facebook ads marketing. And I know that sounds like a lot of money, but you guys know all you do is get one good buyer lead out of that in 1 month, that's going to well pay for itself. And so you guys should be running for buyer funnels and seller funnels, and even, I don't know it depends on if you guys do it or not, but if you should be doing property management funnels as well if you do that. So that was a good question though.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Greg.
Let me see. What's wrong ones? So find it here. Again, here's another one that you guys could do. Is this you? We can help you sell your house faster than for sale by owner, blah, blah, blah. You create your own copy, own tagline. I like this one too. I can sell your house even if it looks like this. Again, you're sending it to a funnel, guys. You've got to send everything to a funnel. What was the other one I like? Again, this is another one. I can sell your house even if it looks like this. Stuff like that. Are you upside down on your mortgage? We can still help you negotiate a short sale. Stuff like that, guys. This is all easy stuff to do, and it doesn't take much to get engagement on these because they're funny. People like it. People share it. Here's another one that's a good one. Do you have a question about what your house might be worth? You guys can come up with all sorts of things, but I love this stuff here. So before I get off and I start taking questions, I want to show you some other things really quickly. This is a letter that we send out to an absentee landlord. This is someone that we are able to go pull an absentee landlord list, and we send them an actual letter, and it hits the pain points. And so if you guys aren't sending out letters like this, you're missing out, because guess what? Every guy like me in town is doing it. And this is what I'm saying to you guys, is that wholesalers and guys like myself that are investors, we're kicking your butts on marketing, because we're sending out, you know, thousands of pieces of mail every single month. We're doing, you know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars every single month on Facebook and others, and Instagram and other things like that. You guys have to start thinking about your marketing budget. And I know referrals are great. We get referrals all the time too. But we get referrals a lot of times from people that keep seeing our stuff all over town, and it reminds them, hey, these guys are here. Let me refer my friend because I've been seeing their stuff. This is also, so on this one, I want to give you an example of a very unique and very different mail piece. So this one, guys, I print this out, it mail merges with that. It has my signature goes in there, and it has all the information there. But what this does, guys, is I take this and I fold it up and I put it in a yellow envelope. But the kicker is, guys, is your house giving you a headache? So what I do is I take a little aspirin packet and I stick it in the envelope. And so when they get it, it's called lumpy mail, and it feels funky. And they're always wondering what in the world is in this mail or this letter. So they open it up, and it's my letter about them giving you a headache, and take these 2 aspirins. I think it says, take these 2 aspirins and give me a call. That's different. There isn't anybody in town that did that. It's so funny. I've actually met buyers of mine that ended up getting some of these from me because of the list that I pulled, because they had some vacant houses or something along the lines, and it was really cool. But this is different. Let me see if I had another one for you. Again, there's probate letter.
That headache thing with the aspirin is genius. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've done so many deals from that. Now, granted, that is a very expensive marketing piece because you have to pay for the postage and the aspirin packets, but it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And so you guys can do the same thing. I don't care if you do that or not. I'm not sending out a ton of direct mail lately, but when we do that, because now we've got more targeted on our direct mail. But that's just an example I wanted to give you guys.
Now, Greg, if I can interrupt a little bit here, now you've got obviously a vast campaigning, direct mail, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. You keep track of that, yes?
Oh yeah, that's what our CRM's for.
Right, and you keep track of that, I'm sure, in a very micro and macro management way to look at what's working and what's not working. When do you decide to look at a campaign and kick it and say it's not working? How long? 6 months?
That's a phenomenal question. These days, it's more like 3 months. You're gonna know. You're gonna know pretty quickly these days if it's working or not, if your message is working. With Facebook, it's going to take you about 3 to 6 months. So if you're running a Facebook ad campaign, guys, please give it at least 6 months. Direct mail, please give it at least 3 months. But you got to make sure you're changing the message up every time you're sending a new piece. So you might have to go 6 months with direct mail. It also, here, guys, it depends on the list you pull and their level of motivation, if that makes sense. Like, you know, you can go pull an absentee landlord list, guys, through Realist. It's super easy. You can pull, I want to say 30,000 of them a month through Realist, but there's no motivation attached to that. So what we do is we cross-reference our list with the undeliverable mail from a mail house. So we send it off to our mail house, and they say, oh no, you had, of that, say 1,000 leads you pulled, you had 25 of them that are vacant. Okay, cool. So that narrows our list down to 25. Then we go take that list and we say, okay, do they have any back taxes? Are there any code violations on the property? Have they had any evictions lately? And then you can tailor your marketing to that. So you guys need to be very targeted, especially if you have a very limited budget. Don't just go send out 1,000 letters to absentee landlords, because they may not have any motivation other than the fact that they own a rental property, and that's not motivation. If that makes sense.
What's a good budget for and I'm kind of asking you to arm the realtors to kind of go to bat against you, but what's a good budget for a realtor to kind of work with from a minimalist standpoint? to commit Facebook and direct mail, two separate ideas. A Facebook budget, you say $5 to $10 a day. How about direct mail? What's a good budget to work with?
Again, I would say if you're very targeted in your list, you guys could do it for about $1,000 a month.
Can you do it
maybe
for
less?
500?
What's that?
Could you do it for like 500 a month?
You could, yeah, you could. What I suggest you guys do is make sure, again, we didn't really talk about it, but you guys need to be targeted in your marketing too. So if you want to dominate, you need to pick up a few zip codes and then only work in those zip codes, only mail to those zip codes. And what's great about Facebook too, guys, you can actually you can pinpoint your advertising by a certain area too. So if you say you work only in North Pinellas, you can do on the map, you could pick a spot and you only do a radius around, say, Clearwater within 10 miles or 5 miles, and then you're going to be all in North Pinellas, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say your minimum should be at least 500 a month. I mean, you're gonna have to be very targeted in your list, so you're not just spending $500 to throw it away.
Right. Okay, that's awesome. Well, let's do this, Greg. If you don't mind, let's kind of open it up to some questions here and see if anybody, Lori, Jenny, anybody on there. Daniel had to dip out, but do we have anybody that's got any questions right now for Greg on the topics he's covering? Anyone?
As for Chevelle's first one, it's for our handyman is for everyone, not just us.
Okay.
Separate entity, it's its own company.
And what we can do, Jenny and Kevin, if you don't mind, in the chat box, if you would put Greg's contact information or a way to get a hold of Greg, or Greg, the handyman company for Chevelle. I mean, I think she's got some work that needs to be done. We can kind of type that in and refer that out. That'd be awesome. So basically, Greg, what we're getting from this is, got to be different. Dare to be different. Get out there and separate yourself some way from everybody else. Stay consistent with your marketing and be committed to it. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, let me add something to that too. So we have students that come in and want to learn this business all the time too. And we're pretty brash and we're pretty bold and blunt with them. And I will do the same with you guys. You need to set aside a 6-month marketing budget that you can afford to lose. So that means to say you can afford $500 a month. And I know Kevin and Leo are not going to want to hear you 2 months from now saying, "Oh man, I can't afford that $500 anymore." Well, didn't Greg and didn't we tell you had to set that aside for 6 months that you could go without living on? Because if that's marketing is an investment in your future. It's not a cost. That's a big misconception. Marketing is not a cost to your business. It is an investment in your future deals. So if you can't afford $500 a month, that's fine. But find out what you can afford for 6 full months straight. If it's $100 a month, then you crush it with that $100 a month. You're super targeted with your list. You go buy those signs and says, "I can sell your house faster than anybody." Whatever you want to put on there, but you've got to have it for 6 months set aside that you can afford to lose. And every marketing company out there will tell you the same.
Say that one more time regarding the investment versus the cost. I get that point across.
Sure. So a lot of people look at their P&L statement, their profit and loss statement, and they see marketing as this just line item cost on it. So you spent $10,000 in marketing last year. Well, what did that $10,000 get you? I'm assuming it got you more than $10,000. So instead of looking at it as a cost on your P&L statement, look at that as an investment that you made into yourself and into your company. So that $10,000 should, in theory, make you about 30 to 40 if you're being targeted and if you're good at follow-ups and sales. Then that's not a cost. That's an investment, because without that $10,000 cost, you're not making that extra $20,000, $30,000. That makes sense.
Right. Most of us,
not a cost, guys.
That's a great point, Greg. And a lot of us do the sweat equity in the open houses and things like that because that's what we can do. We're trading a little bit of time for money. There is a point though where you can only sit so many open houses. You've got to go out and really expand it, kind of like what you're doing. Chevelle just posted a question here, Greg. Is most of your marketing focused on buying the homes or capturing leads for your agents to list? And what percentage is your business in investment versus residential real estate?
Great question. So we have different marketing for each. So I'd say our like our online marketing is more focused towards is probably 50-50 between buying and selling. And so hang on, let me see. It depends on the marketing that we're doing too. Like the online stuff is really going to be better for buyers. Like you're going to find a lot more buyers on Facebook than you are sellers. But the bandit signs and the direct mail pieces are best for sellers. So your buyers, it's hard to find buyers through direct mail, if that makes sense.
Greg, can I interject here for a second?
Of course.
Hey, everybody, it's Kevin. I just wanted to make a couple of points. Getting to what Greg was saying about investing money into marketing. You know, in case everyone doesn't know this, just about every title company that wants to spend $50 a month for access to the information, and every lender out there, we all know your production numbers. And I always get not a kick out of, because it's not really funny, but you know, of course, referrals are the most coveted leads that you're going to get. A referral is, you know, you didn't spend money to get that lead, you just did a great job, and it's more likely to close. So, but I always find it kind of funny when a real estate agent will say, you know, 100% of my business is referrals. And then I'll look at their numbers, and they've done 3 transactions in the last 12 months. And the reason 100% of it is referrals is because they're not doing any marketing. So how else would they possibly get business other than from a referral? And then the other point, I wrote this down as Greg was talking. What I see the marketing message from Greg or from Outfast Realty, it's very similar to We Buy Ugly Houses without the most glaring, to me, fatal problem with We Buy Ugly Houses, which is you're insulting everyone's house. You're saying your house is a piece of shit, so we'll buy it from you. A We Buy Ugly Houses sign in a neighborhood, hey, we just bought this ugly house, can we buy yours too? Now those guys do a ton of business, but that's a negative connotation right out of the gate. And Greg takes the same type of concept, reaching the same types of people, but doesn't say your house is ugly, other than when Charles Barkley said that. So I think it's brilliant. You're taking an idea that is proven effective and improving it and making it your own. It's great.
And again, that comes down to why we kind of open the retail side too, because no matter what, guys, everybody, whether they're selling it their crappy house or a nice house, they want to get out fast. Period. I mean, that's just the way it is. But we have kind of capitalized on both sides. But I like what Kevin said. You know, they're missing. Here's a statistic that you guys might like to know. Only 2% of all real estate transactions are done without a real estate agent. So that means that those We Buy Ugly Houses guys, and me as going after those as well, are all fighting over 2% of the deals out there. So they're literally offending 98% of Americans that are selling their house. So would you rather go after the 98% or the 2%? It's obvious. It's pretty easy to answer that question, right? So yeah, I mean, we hit it on both sides now. That's kind of why we did it the way we did it. So that way we can monetize on everything, because we would get, even those bandit signs that said we buy your house cash, close in 3 days or whatever, we would still get people asking retail, and I couldn't do anything with it. So I was like, so I just kind of passed it off and just, you know, referred it out, but I couldn't make any money on it because I'm not licensed. I'm still not licensed. I just own the brokerage. But now I can just pass it to one of our agents, and our agents make me money. It's beautiful. Oh, are you guys doing this?
What is that?
That is a testimonial request that our title companies have on file. This is actually, it's changed a little bit.
Request.
Yeah, so it's actually a little bit different now because we changed it for the brokerage. We still will send this one out if we do a wholesale deal where I bought it and sold it. But we literally have this as part of the closing packet. So when they're signing the deeds and all that stuff, this is handed to them saying, would you mind filling this out for us? And then you can take that and you can put on your website. What we're also doing to you guys, it's a little trick that we're implementing this month. We're requiring our agents to go to all the closings, and then we're asking for a video testimonial through a cell phone video, because then you can take those and run ads to them on Facebook.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great. So that basically is an ad opportunity for any realtor that has 2 closings a year to do a 30-second video testimonial with their buyers, their sellers, or whatever it may be, and you could probably run that ad 4 or 5 times in a year, right?
I would run it nonstop. I would use that $5 to $10 a day and run it all day, every day, until you run out of your budget. But yeah, you get a testimonial from somebody, you're golden. Like that will get you more referrals than anything we've talked about today. Is getting one of these from your seller or your buyer. How did I do as a real estate agent? Would you use me again? And then at the end, would you refer me to your friends and family? And if they say yes, then obviously off camera you're going to say, well, do you know anybody right now that needs to sell or buy? That I would love to help them out. And that's super simple, guys. Like that's going to make you guys a ton of money right there by making sure you ask for the referral. That's one of the things that we forget to do a lot of times. And so we made it mandatory that all of our agents go to the closings and request at least getting this done. If we can't get the video because they're a little nervous of being on camera, that's fine. But as long as we get this, we can run an ad to it anyway. Because we're still going to take a picture of it, of the closing, then the closing with the house that says or the sold sign or whatever. And then we're going to run an ad with their testimonial part right there.
Hey, Greg, let me jump in here. This is Kevin. Couple things. One, on that letter, I implemented something like that forever ago in St. Louis when I had my company, and we did it for the mortgage people. And we actually, it's a little bit of a long story, but you can take that letter and turn it into a mailer and send it to the people in the area that you just sold a house for. Other than Outfast Realty and lenders, some lenders will have a survey, buried within their closing package, their loan package. I have never seen in the state of Florida a realtor include this or have this done, and maybe they're doing it outside of the closing, but like Greg said, the closing table is the very place.
Are you kidding? Nobody?
Nobody.
Wow.
And then one other thing. Guys. One other thing to really keep in mind, guys, is your online presence. So, like Greg said, you can do a mailer with this. It's authentic. It's to their neighbors. But forget that. If you don't want to do that, take a photo of this handwritten letter, post that photo on social media or everywhere you can, and it proves that it's authentic. And I had an email from yesterday, and then we got a random phone call from this morning. We got 2 for sale by owner deals. The one from yesterday, from Sunday, that I spent 10 minutes talking to on the phone this morning is a $450,000 deal. And the one that happened to call in is a $309,000 deal, both already under contract. They just need a title company, and they solely chose us because of our Google reviews. We have like 50-some reviews because we asked for them, and people leave nice reviews. And that online presence is everything. They're not, I have no idea how many calls I missed before we had reviews. I know how many we get now, which are pretty significant, but people are calling someone, and if it's not you, it's because of your online presence doesn't show you in the best light, or it doesn't show you at all.
Well, that's
Chevelle had a question too.
Yeah,
she said, "What percentage?"
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
What percentage of seller leads are we buying versus listing? I would say we're listing probably 75 to 80% of everything coming in right now. The market is very, very tight for me to be able to buy investment deals. They're still out there, but I would say it's at least 75% are all turning into listings. So we're just killing it on the listing side right now. It's been awesome.
Well, that's here's the thing. Here's another big takeaway that I got when I met with Greg, and we'll expand on this next week at Baba. I know we're running out of time now, but kind of one of the genius things about the way that their company is positioned as being retail realtors and investors is, this is an appreciating market. This is a seller's market. This is a time where everyone's making money on real estate. And like Greg just said, not a whole lot of people trying to dump their homes. But guess what? Eventually it will be a buyer's market. Eventually there will be mortgage problems. Eventually being an investor will be the smart thing. And they don't even have to flip the switch. They're already doing both. Their people are trained in both. So I think as obviously next week you'll learn a lot of stuff about dealing with investors, but I think becoming one, or at least knowing enough to become one, is the right thing to do, because eventually you will be knocking on doors saying, look, you have $50,000 in equity in your home and you're not behind on anything. You don't have any hardship. However, next year you're going to have zero equity because of this market. Sell now, list with me now.
Yep.
That's a great
agree more.
Yeah. Well, what we're going to do, Greg's got a bunch of stuff going on today. We want to thank Greg for being on the call, and certainly going to be super stoked and excited to have him on the panel and presenting on BABA, on the upcoming BABA event. And I think the big takeaway, agents, Lori, Scott, Tom, everybody that's on the line right now, is you have an opportunity at every single closing to get either a written testimonial or a video testimonial. That's free. You don't have to pay for that. In fact, you're getting paid for that. So
yeah, exactly.
Capture that testimonial, especially on video. And I think, Greg, you'll attest to this, is that video has got the greatest click rate and the greatest penetration that you can have on the internet right now. If you can capture a 20 to 30 second little video of your buyers, happy buyers, name branded with a little banner below, and pound that on Facebook, it's right there for you. Greg also mentioned having a budget set aside. If you don't have a budget now, start putting a budget together for your next few closings and earmark that money for at least 6 months, right, Greg? At least 6 months worth of marketing money for 2018 if you don't already have it, and consider that an investment in your business, not a debit or a cost in the red. Am I right?
Correct. One thing before we get out here, I want to say, of our closings as a company, I don't know what our agents are doing. We have a recommendation to them. The net proceeds from our deals, or I'm sorry, our deals and our listings or buyers, we take 30% of whatever's left over, the profit, and we put that directly into a marketing account for the next go around.
So you're earmarked right at that check is cut and already divided. That's
correct. It's automatically, they get that wire in or the check in. Our assistant essentially takes that money and throws it right in the marketing account. We don't even, it's like part of the process.
Yep.
So we keep funneling money.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's because we're providing company generated leads, so we have to keep making sure that we keep putting money right back into marketing to be able to handle. We can't afford to keep putting out bandit signs if we don't earmark money for them.
Yeah, you got to feed the beast, brother. You got to feed the beast.
Absolutely.
Well, awesome, Greg. Certainly, I want to thank you for your time. I look forward to meeting you in person coming up here.